We got the weekend junkyard score. You see, with my project being a 1988 Honda Accord hatchback, you gotta know that there's not a lot of them out there. One popped up at a local junkyard this past weekend, so I had to take advantage of that. And also a little tip for the junkyard, take all the hardware that you're gonna need and the hardware that you don't need. And even the extra trim pieces. Let's get started.
And now, you're watching the realization that is a fully built transmission and Caitlyn Jenner can be described in the same few words channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what's happening? Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video, another week, another day. Lots of things to do. Could not be more excited to be out at the shop getting stuff going. So before we actually get going, I just wanted to mention this design, the cat logo, the fan favorite for the t-shirt, the design that actually sold out pretty quickly. I have all of those shirts back in stock. I'm working on some other stuff. Also, I have the cat hat, the pink dad hat that sold out right away. Those are actually both back in stock, both on the site right now. So in the link down in the description below, if you want to check that out. All the proceeds go towards putting out good content. Well, what I hope to be good content. But anyway, so like I was saying at the beginning of this video, what I ended up doing this past weekend is I went out to the junkyard and I got a couple of parts that I needed for the car. You see, I'm looking on the junkyards all the time. If one of these cars pops up, I need to take advantage of it. So little things like my bumper lights, they're completely broken. These ones aren't in the best condition, but they are all there. They're completely solid, so they are going to do just fine. So what I ended up getting was the front bumper, the little bumper lights, also the corner lights, which are the signal lights, and then these little pieces for the headlights. See, they're not in great condition, but again, they are better than what I have right now, so that is going to work. And if I find more in the future, that'll work as well. Like I said, I just want to keep my eye out and grab stuff when I have the opportunity, because that opportunity does not come up, so I needed to take advantage of that. Alright, so now let's actually get into what the name of this video is, what the title is, what the thumbnail is, what everything is, what you might have clicked the video for, and that is for the seats. Now, just a heads up, I actually filmed some of this yesterday. Now, I got a bunch of other stuff going on with the wiring, and that's taking a little bit longer, so I want to wait to make a video on that until I get every single thing figured out. So, a lot of the times lately, I've been filming one day and then kind of going back and adding the talking points and editing, and you don't need to know all that stuff. So the first thing that I want to do is I have these seats, and these seats are actually in my 1998 Acura Integra Project Pepto. They are DC5 seats, which are Acura RSX Type R. They're actually called Acura Integra Type R in Japan, DC5 Integra Type R, red RECAROS seats, and I think they are going to be perfect for this car. And the thing is, I actually set these rails up in my 1988 Honda Accord to make sure that I can sit those rails on there. Well, the rails that go on the DC5 seats, but the actual seats that are in the Integra, I had to make custom Integra rails for them, so I had the DC5 rails sitting in my container, so that worked out really well because I could just take the rails and then build the car based on the rails. Now I actually got to swap out the rails that I was using, the OEM DC5 rails, put those on the DC5 seats after I remove the Integra rails from the DC5 seats. I know it's a lot going on, but what it comes down to is the seats and the setup in the Accord is going to be equivalent to a Acura RSX or a DC5 Integra Type R, and those seats will go in there. And then I'm going to find new seats for the Integra, seats that might fit a little bit better, like DC2 Type R seats as opposed to DC5 Type R seats. If you don't understand all this mumbo jumble, I'm sorry. Let's just get into it. this point, driver's side, passenger side seats bolt in, all 4 bolts, 100% solid. The sliders are working just like they should. Let me show you. Everything fits just fine. And actually the OEM Accord rails sat out a lot wider, so I was having problems binding up with the trans tunnel, but these I don't have any problems whatsoever. They are working exactly like they should. Now the next thing that I want to do for just time being, I might go with a harness eventually, but again, just for time being, I want that OEM seatbelt to work like it worked in the Honda Accord. So I'm gonna see if I can actually swap out the latch, the little buckle mechanism, because the actual seatbelt comes from the door, and I just want to be able to use that just like you would in the OEM Honda Accord. So let's go ahead and get those swapped over. Those buckles actually go to the rail, and it just so happens that the bolt that's used in the Accord rail is the same exact bolt that fits in the Recaro rail, which isn't too absurd because it is OEM Honda stuff, but that works. So now what we have is OEM functionality in some type of aftermarket application. Well, it's aftermarket for this car. Recaro comes in Hondas. Recaros never came in Accords like this, but it works. It looks good. And then the red with the red subframe, couple red accents. The red with the brown, I don't know how I feel about it, but I think it looks good. We'll have to make a decision once the car is all together before we can officially decide. But either way, we have some good seats in here now. They're going to be nice and safe. They work phenomenally, just like they should. Happy with that. So the next thing that I kind of want to do is I want to keep it moving with the interior stuff. I want to work on the center console. I want to see if I can fit the OEM center console in here with the e-brake and have the OEM shift boot in use, because that would be really cool. This entire car is about adapting old stuff with new stuff, making it still look a little bit like the OEM car, but having crazy other stuff in here. You know, that's been the theme thus far, right? Alright, so let's see. A little trimming, a little cutting. I also put the shift boot on. It'd be cool if I could use the OEM Accord shifter, because it actually goes here while the shift knob clips into there. But the thread size is way different. So let's see here. Also the OEM shifter saying, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reverse, as opposed to the 6-speed that's in here, the T56. So, you know, I would know, but then, I don't know. That could get a little sketchy if anybody wants to drive the car and they don't know, and, you know how that goes. And I guess what I gotta see is, you know, can I go through all the gears with everything? And keep in mind, this is all just sitting because I still got to put in the carpet, so this is really just temporary. I just kind of want to get an idea of if this is even possible, but to be honest, it looks pretty solid. I mean, it looks fine. The dash should sit about right here. Trimmed a good amount of this. Got this going on. Let's see. See if we can go through the gears. First, second, third. Everything works. It looks pretty good. Not too bad. Little OEM looking. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I like it. It looks good. Oh wow. So now I just gotta go ahead and make the mounting, make this finalized. Feels good. E-brake's obviously a lot higher than it was before, but feels good as an armrest. Everything looks good. I'm happy with that. I had this in my head all along that I wanted to try to put these pieces back in, and when I mounted the e-brake I had to make sure it was so close to the shifter so that way it would fit in with this whole unit, and it does. It looks good. I'm happy with that. So then all this has got to come out. The whole center console's got to come out, the seat's got to come out, the wiring's got to be wrapped up. Once the wiring's done, then we can go for carpet. Once the carpet is installed, we have to make sure there's holes for all of these things that we're adding now. So everything that we're doing now will have to be ripped out, and that's what we've been doing the whole way. Man, so I am definitely happy with that. I'm happy with these seats in this car, even though I stole them from my other car, but it is all good. Like I mentioned, I'll find another pair, and either way, we have something that's gonna work for this. Now all I have to do is buy the seats. Both cars are set up, both cars are ready, and I love this little retro, this little label. I think that's just the coolest thing. You don't really see that on cars nowadays, so I really like that. I've always liked that about this car, and I like that we're just kind of putting some of the things that were in there before back together as if the car was never messed with. Even though the level that the car was messed with is through the roof, there's pretty much nothing the same. I really like the fact that we're putting things back in the car that make it look like the car was before it was even messed with. So if you guys could do me a favor, if you could share my videos with a friend, just do that for me. I'm trying to get the views up, trying to get the subscribers up, trying to get everything going, because the higher the views, the more money's coming in, the more I can do projects like this. And I think that's gonna be it for this one, you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Wiring video will be on the way very soon. The main goal is to make everything that used to be temporary kind of finalized, and then we will be on the road for the final time, hopefully. So that's gonna be it for this one, you guys. I will see you on the next one. I'm out.